So welcome back again. In this lesson, we're going to continue with the collections in Objective-C, and we will be talking about a particular type of collection called a dictionary. Dictionaries are essentially a key value paired collection. What it means is, imagine if you have an array and then every element in the array, instead of having an index that is a numeric value, it has an actual title that you can search for that title and find that a specific item in your array. Dictionaries are essentially the same thing, that they allow you to have key value paired objects within a collection. So let's go into Xcode, and in Xcode I'm going to close this project. I'm going to start a new one, say command line tool, and this is dictionaries project. So in the dictionaries project, I'm going to get started with my very first dictionary. So let me get some better formatting in here as usual. And then the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to say I have NS dictionary, and this is going to be my first dictionary, and that's going to be NS dictionary with object for key. So I'm gonna say the object that I have, it's going to be my name, and the key for it is going to be name key or anything like that. So right now I have a dictionary where an object that is content is Amir is associated with a key called name key. So if I want to find that, I could go ahead and say nslog, and let's say value for name is, and whatever object you find later on, and that value is going to be my first dictionary object for key, and the object for key is, the key I'm looking for is name key. Let's run this app or this project. So what it's going to do is it's going to say, let's go to my first dictionary, search for a key, and that key is name key, and find the value for it and print it in here. Now, keep in mind that the keys are arbitrary values. They don't have to be anything in a specific. If you want, call this n, and obviously when we are searching, we search for name. If you want to call it name, then call that one name and this one name. I usually tend to finish them with a tag key, so I know that these are my keys and the other ones are my values. Now, while this might be useful, it's very difficult to enter values like this. So instead of having a dictionary with a set number of values, we actually usually make an NS mutable dictionary and we keep adding values to it. Let's see how we're going to do that. So down in here, I'm going to say NS mutable dictionary, and this is going to be my mutable dictionary. That's going to be NS mutable dictionary alloc and init. So it is allocated and initialized. So now there is a mutable dictionary. It is declared, it is allocated and initialized, and it can take in values such as what I could say my mute dictionary set value, and the value is going to be my name for the key name key. And then I'm going to say again my mutable dictionary set value, and the value is Vancouver, and set it for city key. And let's have one more, my mutable dictionary and set value, and this value is going to be iOS, and this one is going to be course name key. So now I have a dictionary that has 3 different keys, and each key obviously has a certain value. And if I want to find any of those, I could simply go ahead and say, let me copy that entire thing. Name of user is, for instance, name of user is, and then I would say my mutable dictionary object for key and name key. I have to make sure that the keys I use are existing in here. Otherwise, there won't be any results. It wouldn't give me an error. It just wouldn't print anything. So let's print that out. Perfect. That's the first one in here. And this is the second one. Let's print the city of user. City of user is for city key and perfect. Now, as you can imagine, in a larger dictionary such as this one, there is 3 different keys and there are also 3 different values, and we could actually access those and put them in an array. So I could say nslog all keys are, and then whatever you find in my mutable dictionary all keys. So what it's going to do is it's going to actually produce all of the keys, put them in an array, and then it's going to print them for me. And the reason I know it's going to be an array is that because when I write all keys, it tells me it's a non-null NS array. It's going to return an NS array for me. So all keys. And similarly, I could do the same thing for all the values. So I'm going to say all values, and all the values are, let's run this now. So what we have down in here is we obviously have the 2 prints that we had before, and now it's saying all keys are name key, city key, course name key, and then all the values are Emir, Vancouver, and iOS, just like what we expected. Now, if for any reason you don't want to use a mutable dictionary and you want to define and declare everything in one go, you could actually do that as well. So I could go ahead and say NS dictionary, let's call this one multiple values dictionary, is NS dictionary, dictionary with, last time we used dictionary with object for key. Now this time I'm actually going to use dictionary with objects and keys, plural, multiple objects and multiple keys. So the way we write those is like this. I'm going to say dictionary with objects and keys. Every first value, every first entry will be considered a value, and every second one would be considered a key. So essentially right now there is one key called K for one value called V. Now let's try to remake this thing that we have up there. I'm going to say it is Emir for name key. And it's a good practice to actually, bring this one line down so we can see them properly next to each other. And then I'm going to say the next one is Vancouver for city name key. And then I think the last one would be iOS, and this would be course name key. Perfect. So this is now a dictionary that at the initialization level, when we are initializing, we are putting multiple values in it. So this is one key value pair, this is another key value pair, and this is another key value pair. And just like the previous examples, I could just go ahead and say print a certain thing from here. Say nslog my value for, I don't know, course is, and then I'm going to say column, and then I'm going to say multiple values dictionary object for key, and the key I'm looking for is course name key. And let's run that. And if it all goes well, it should print iOS at the very end. Yes, value for course is iOS. Now that we got a sense of how dictionaries are built, we have to talk about something quite important, and that is nesting dictionaries within arrays or arrays within dictionaries. So to do that, I'm actually going to comment out all of my NS logs so we don't see a lot of stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and say comment this one out. Comment. And if you're wondering how do I do this commenting, is command and /. It's a hotkey for commenting out anything that is in the current line. So if I select these guys and say command /, it comments all of them out. And if I do it again, it essentially uncomments them. So now when we run, the application runs successfully, but we don't see anything down there because we are not printing any values. So in this example, I want to do this. I want to put two users inside one array. So once again, two users inside one array, and every user has only two entries, name and a city. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to say NS dictionary user1 dictionary is going to be an NS dictionary with objects and keys, and the objects are these: Amir, and that is name key, just like what we had done before. And I have the other user, which is, the other piece of information, which is Vancouver, and that is for city or city key. And that's one of my users. Let's duplicate this once again. And in the copy, I'm going to say user2 dictionary. This is going to be Steve, and Steve lives in, I don't know, San Francisco, if that's how you spell it. So I've got two dictionaries, each of them about one of my users. And now I want to put both of them inside an array. So I'm going to say NS mutable array. Let's call this one users array. It is NS mutable array alloc and init. And it's not a bad time to mention this. Whenever you have to do this alloc init, you can do only one, and that is new. So instead of alloc init, I could say just do new, which is exactly identical to saying alloc and then saying init. So these two would be exactly identical. So NS mutable array, users array, and I'm going to say users array add object user1 dictionary, and then I'm going to say users array add object, and now add the user2 dictionary. So both of my dictionaries are now added inside my array. And if I print my array, nslog, whatever object you find in users array, if we print this, we should be able to see the entire thing in one big array. So just like what we expected, this is the array. So that is the array, the two parentheses or the two round brackets. Within that, there is one object, comma, the other object. And as we expected, within that curly brackets, which is our dictionary, there's the city key, Vancouver, name key, Amir, and then for the other user, city key, San Francisco, name key, Steve. Now, in the next few lessons, when we talk about for loops, we will learn how to search between all of these elements and find exactly what we want. But for now, I just want to show you something real quick. Imagine we wanted to go and find our second array, object in the array, and from that, we wanted to get the name of the user. So I'm going to say name of the second dictionary is, and then in here I would say, let me come one line down, I would say users array object at index 1, that is the second one. Remember, arrays, they start from 0, so 0 1. So now we got that first dictionary. Then I'm going to open another bracket and in here close that and say object for key, and the key I'm looking for is name key. So it's essentially saying, if you wanted to see it visually, it's saying go to the users array. In the users array, go to the object at index 1, so not this one, but this one. In here, search for an object for the key, name key, and that's the name key, and we're saying print it. So let's see what we get. I'm going to run that, and it's saying name of the second dictionary is Steve, or that was a very bad naming, name for the second user, I should have said, second user. All right, so name for the second user is Steve, just like how we expected it to be. So that's about that. Dictionaries are value key paired collections. You can have so many different keys and so many different values inside a dictionary. To find a certain value within a certain dictionary, we look for object for key, we get that. We can also get things such as all the keys, and we can get all the values. There is more of these methods, such as getting all the values for a certain key or getting all the keys that correspond to this value. But those things, we will see them as we go along and we actually, use dictionaries inside our applications. For now, just learn how to essentially initialize dictionaries, either with single key value pair or with a mutable method that you can keep adding new values to them, or with multiple values in one go, and obviously about nesting different dictionaries inside an array, which is a very common practice, and of course finding values inside them, getting the array from the array, getting that particular object that is a dictionary, and from that dictionary getting the object for a particular key. That would be essentially what you would need to do. So that's about that. Let's keep it up to here, and in the next lesson we'll move on with iterations and for loops and control flows.